everybody's got a lot of questions. Everybody is curious as to how big of a deal this is. Mr. Loomer, how are you, sir?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing perfect. I'm doing perfect. So what I'd like to do is we've got a lot of questions. Some people don't even know what CBD is. Some people aren't even aware of the health industry itself. And so we've got some questions that have come in to Jordan and myself. We've got some questions that actually corporate even sent us. And if you wouldn't mind, give us a little bit of your time and we can go through some of these. Is that cool?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you hear me okay?
I can hear you good. I can hear you
all
good.
Right. Right on. So if we cut out at all a little bit, we're in the RV, just made it over to Arizona. So I'm going live from the RV. So hopefully we're all good. So
that's awesome.
If I lose you, I'll jump back on, but we should be good.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. The cool thing about, somebody just messaged, the cool thing about what we do is that you can do this anywhere.
Do it anywhere, man.
Okay,
right on.
So I start off a little bit. I'm sure most of the people on this call know who you are. I mean, you're a specialist on the health side of our company. Now we've brought on CBD. We're going to go through some questions people have had. And the first thing is, why is it so important these days that people take care of their health, and why CBD now?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we've been trying to get people to take their health into their own hands for, I don't know, 15 plus years now. And I think now more than ever, Scott, people are really looking for solutions. They're looking for answers. They're looking for alternatives. They're fed up. They're sick and tired of getting medicated. They're sick and tired of being sick. They're sick and tired of seeing people with issues, even at a younger age, and that's very frustrating to people. So I think now more than ever, I can tell you from what Tylene and I have experienced over the past 15 plus years, this past year has been dramatically different than the past 15 years as far as people seeking. They want to understand. They don't always believe that they're drug deficient anymore. They're starting to understand it's their body. Their body's nutrient deficient. Their body's capable of so much if it's given the right things. So, I mean, that's just a big deal. And so I kind of want to talk just from that perspective as people are more open.
Yep.
And sometimes we have to unlearn what we've learned, and I know growing up, I just thought nothing against doctors. We love our doctors. I just thought the doctors were the end all be all, and and they were taught what they were taught. And if you kind of follow the money backwards, right, and you go back through history, back in the day, Scott, I think it was over 80% of what was prescribed from a practitioner, a doctor, was holistic.
Yeah.
I mean, and then everything changed. The whole schooling changed, medical schools, blah, blah, blah. And so here we are, almost 2019, and we've come to a place where people are like, man, what the heck? We're not supposed to be like this. And I know I'm a lot older than you, man, but when I was growing up, people we didn't see what we see today. And now we see all this stuff everywhere as far as health issues. So now's the time. And if we could just dive right in with CBD, the whole premise of this is that this plant, cannabis, hemp, this plant has been on this earth for however many thousands of years,
yep.
Right? What we didn't know or didn't understand was that our bodies have receptors, an endocannabinoid system that's looking for these CBDs. It's kind of trying to produce it. It's trying to serve itself with something that it's been deprived of for a long time. Mm-hmm. So this isn't the latest and greatest thing by any means. It's just that the discovery was made. In fact, because the U.S. banned all this research on hemp and cannabis decades and decades ago, I think it was my birth year, 1964, in giving it away in Israel.
You've only got me by 2 years.
Come on, really? All right, so 1964 in Israel, they discovered what was going on. This research was getting heavier and heavier, and they were learning that we have an endocannabinoid system, you know, from the 60s and 70s and 80s, and then it was like, what? How come no one knew? Well, no one knew because no one was allowed legally to research the plant.
Yep.
So this isn't something that just fell out of the sky, is my point. This has been here. We have gotten so far from plant medicine away from nature, you know, from decade to decade to decade. It's gotten further. Just think back, man. Just think about when you and I were kids, and think about our life back then, and think about our life today. We didn't see this stuff. No. And we were doing things different. Now, what does that mean? Well, our food was different. The soil was different. We didn't have all the chemicals in everything we were doing. And that goes back to money again, because you can't patent nature, right? But you can patent chemicals. And so that's just a, you know, whatever, $4 or $5 trillion industry. And we wonder why now it's caught up to us. So people are more aware. And Perfect. So this CBD, this plant medicine, let's just kind of break that down. Yeah. CBD is, I don't want to say the only medicinal part, but let's look at the plant. THC, Scott, is what gives people that high effect. Okay, CBD does not do that. That's not what CBD is. So first and foremost, there's a difference. So we like to say, you know, get healed, not high, because we're talking about CBD. That doesn't mean that THC, you know, it has its place also. But like other things, if not used correctly, if nowadays the way they grow all the things they do with that, man, it's really about not just getting high. It's about, if I can say it, it's about getting stoned. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. And so we're not that. CBD is not that. CBD is about allowing your body to feed itself. It works like an adaptogen. Adaptogen, you know, your body's, it's going to do something for you, man, that may be completely different than what it does for me. So it's pretty cool. But keep going, man, because I'll just keep going.
Yeah, for sure. You just knocked out the next question. Is actually, what is CBD? So next one is, talk to us a little bit about the process of extracting the whole plant and keeping it intact versus oil companies that whatever their process is, because we have something unique.
You know, we have something really unique, and I really want to slow the roll here. Let's just slow down for a second. You know Tylene and I, and some of you watching may know Tylene and I. We have been in plant medicine a long time.
Yeah,
Ty,
for sure.
20 years-ish. I'm a few years behind her. We do everything that we can as close to nature as possible. So we were the weirdos, we were the woo-woos, we were the hippies, we were whatever people wanted to call us for many, many years. We've been called everything you can be called probably, and that's okay. The shift has happened. It's happening. It's the tide, it's turning. Everything's going the other way. Gut health, which we've been teaching, plant health is what we've been teaching. Now it's prevalent. Now people are like, okay, we're starting to really get it. And I want people to know who are watching, we have been working with this specific extraction process that you're talking about, that I'm going to describe, for about 4 years. Okay? So for about 4 years, we've been researching. The only reason, Scott, the only reason we chose to get into CBD as plant medicine was because of this extraction process. We had seen, we had tried, we had experimented with these other CBD oils. And when we found someone, you know, call it God, is it odd, is it God, synchronicity, whatever you want to call it, we were put together and partnered with someone who for 8 or 9 years now has been working on figuring this out. And what he figured out or discovered was that there was a methodology, there was a way he could extract from any plant, without using any harsh chemicals like propylene glycol, alcohol, butane, or the, I guess the cleanest of the dirty extractions, critical CO2 extraction, where they're just heating things up so hot. And you've always heard Tylene and I preach, like with plant enzymes, we don't want to heat those up because you kill them. So we want nature to be nature, right? And so when we found this gentleman and we started researching and realizing, okay, we work with a lot of health practitioners, as you know. We work with a lot of folks trying to help themselves, whatever the issue is, whether it's in the U.S. or in other countries, things that we weren't even allowed to talk about, right? You're just not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
When you show things that help people, it kind of frustrates, you know, the big guys out there. I'll just call them that. I want to be nice. I want to walk lightly here. But that's what this has come back down to. And so all these companies that have come up with the latest and greatest technology, the bottom line is they're using chemicals to extract. They're using chemicals to clean their equipment when they're done. If it wasn't toxic and dirty, they wouldn't need to use chemicals to clean their equipment.
For sure.
Think about that. The waste that they have, because they're extracting, they're hitting a plant repeatedly, they're adding things back in, and that's not who we are. We are whole plant. You know, you've heard us talk about whole food supplementing. We are whole foods, whole plants. We don't need to add other components in to get the end result. And the end result for us, Ty and I can't take credit for this. We just happen to be with the right individual who created it for many years now. The end result is fluid, not oil, and that's because of the way it's extracted. And that's because nothing else is used to extract it. And so basically the whole flower, the whole plant is intact. Everything is extracted. There's hundreds of these cannabinoids, right? These CBDs. So we are able to extract all these. We are able to extract what are called secondary cannabinoids, which I've not heard anyone be able to do. We've been able to extract the terpenes, the essence of that flower, of that plant. So the efficacy, keeping that plant intact, is everything to us. I mean, the integrity is of the flower. You want that. You want to be as close to nature as possible. And that's really what this whole process has been, and it's been for many years. The only reason people are hearing about it now, that Tylene and we've all gone public with this, is because about a week ago, legally, we were allowed to.
Yep. And so let's talk about that for a second. So is CBD legal in all 50 states? What does the Farm Bill being passed mean to us? I mean, does this change hemp? What does this do?
So the Farm Bill is a huge deal, man. It is huge. We've been waiting for this day. Many thousands of people, tens of thousands, they've been waiting for this day. They say it's like a I don't know what the number is, $800 billion change of economy because of the financial institutions, the banking, the credit card processing, like all the things behind the scenes that people were, they were nervous about. Yeah. So the government says, the federal government says in the Farm Bill that if your CBD is below 0.3 THC, which we're far below, but like a minute amount, then it is legal and considered CBD. Hemp CBD is what they're classifying it as, because the trace of it, it's such a minute amount of THC. So, and by the way, you need that trace of THC in there to make it do what it's capable of doing. They're kind of the power couple. They're like, a catalyst. It's going to allow your CBD to do what it's fully capable of doing. So you'll see products out there, they advertise, they're bragging about no THC. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely silliness. That doesn't mean there's not medicinal value with their product. But I don't know about you, but if I'm going to spend my money and my time and ask you, Scott, to use something, I want to, know that it is the best possible thing that we have experienced and researched and found in this country, right, for the last 4 years or so. And so it's interesting because people are using some of these CBD oil. They're really goofy. Most of them taste like bad salad dressing if you've ever experienced them.
Yeah.
But even those, for some people, work because our bodies, our receptors, we've been deprived of this for so long. Sometimes people will they'll get some value out of that for a little while. So
that's awesome. So two questions in one on the next one is, how do we explain what's in our product, and who do you think needs CBD the most?
Well, only the plants in our product. There's nothing
That's
else.
awesome.
There's nothing else. It's fluid, not oil. It is CBDA, which is a very important, CBD that is in there. Basically, the entire alphabet of what's available from the plants. We are organically grow the raw material, the plants. They are no herbicides, no pesticides. That we feel is very important. Just like when we're working with, what we've done with whole food supplementing for the last, 15 plus years. The same.
Mm-hmm.
See, we couldn't do this, Scott, if we weren't on the same level, we wouldn't do it. I mean, anyway, look, we all know 9 out of 10 vitamins and supplements sold in the United States still use synthetic ingredients. We know that. It is what it is. Well, it's no different with CBD. We know that 9 out of 10 CBD oils, whatever you want to call them, even though we're fluid, they all use toxic crap.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to offend anyone, nor am I judging any of them. Sometimes they don't know what they don't know. And sometimes the marketers come out to play. And sometimes these doctors who think they got it down, and people follow them because, they say doctor. What does that even mean when it comes to CBD? We're looking at scientific results in testing, of course. But here's the proof. This is the proof that everyone misses. Anyone can go do whatever they want to do and create whatever, and we can do the same. And we third-party test our, you can send out and you can look, the certificates of analysis and all those things. We haven't exposed everything to the world yet, to everyone, because we're the benchmark. We have something they don't have. We've proven to these companies recently, in the past couple months, the ones that have gotten it. See, a lot of these companies out there, they've been talking to us, Scott, for years. And now they're coming around. They're like, wait a minute. These guys got it going on. Yes, it's more efficient. Yes, it's less wasteful. Oh my gosh. I wonder what they can do for us. And we've proven to them. We have found, for example, a group that are really trying to help people. And they're doing some plant medicine, and we've shown them with what they've grown through our process. The analysis, afterwards, the testing, when you send it out to labs for testing, we're able to pull more from those plants than they are. Go figure. So it's only a matter of time. People are going to keep coming around, and that's okay. Let everyone do whatever they're going to do. It's all nothing but love over here. The only thing I'm concerned about over there is that if people who use those types of products and don't get medicinal value, and then they never try it again, that's hurtful. That's bothersome. Yeah. And if they've gotten some medicinal value, I can't wait for them to try this, because it takes it to a whole nother level. So
that is perfect. Which actually leads me into my exact next question is, not only what is the suggested usage of our CBD compared to oil-based CBD, but what if somebody's on medications for things like dementia or Tourette's or anything? I mean, is this something they need to even try to implement into their lives?
Well, first of all, we always tell people, work with your doctor, blah, blah, blah. We always try to,
for sure.
The problem is we're not allowed to say anything, right, when it comes to that. So all I can say is this. Name me an issue I've probably seen the results with most health issues. What you just mentioned, yes, for sure. So
Yes.
we never tell anyone go off your prescription. We don't do that.
Yeah.
That's between the individual and their practitioner who's prescribed them whatever. But the goal for many people is to lessen those prescriptions and eventually, hopefully, maybe even not have to use those prescriptions.
Awesome.
So you don't have to take my word for it. If you go back like 4 or 5 years ago on CNN, Dr. Sanjay Gupta did a special, and it was like an hour, 2-hour special. And that's what opened a lot of the doors, Scott, because basically Dr. Gupta was saying, he was kind of apologizing to the general population, the public, saying he was wrong. He misspoke. He prejudged before he understood and researched. And that's when they were showing all the kids with seizure results.
Yeah.
And families started all moving to Colorado because at that time, that's where this specific thing was created, and that's where legally they had to move to Colorado so they could save their kids. That's why this farm bill is a historic time. This is one of the biggest things in our modern day world in the U.S. that is changing everything. The economy of scales. This is goofy what's going to happen from a revenue perspective, and
For sure.
from a dosing, this is interesting. So most CBDs come in a dropper. Some are a pump, but most are in a dropper. A pump is just going to give you more oil at once, right? A dropper is just a drop. And these pumps and these drops, they ask you to drop it under your tongue or pump it under your tongue and hold it there. And most droppers are 20 drops, the entire dropper. Some are 10, some are 30 drops, and some are less. Usually the pumps are a little bit less because it's kind of deceiving. You're pumping more of that oil out, and they're asking you to hold it under your tongue. Hold it there, hold it, keep holding it, hold it for a minute and a half. Hold it there. Try not to drool because they're hoping your body absorbs this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. That's why, like with synthetic vitamin C, it's the same thing. They give you a gazillion milligrams because they know your body can't take. It's not even real to begin with, and your body can't even take and use that. It's goofy. So we're 2 little drops, Scott. We're 2 drops is a dose.
2 drops.
Two drops is a dose. Here's what's kind of funny too is, I should say funny, sad actually. Big GW Pharma a couple months ago announced the first, maybe 6-7 weeks, I don't know, the first cannabis prescription drug. I don't know if you saw this. Big, huge announcements. So you knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time before the big boys got in the game to try to control whatever they could.
For sure.
And they said it'll cost the patient about $1,000 a month. What? In the insurance companies, $1,000 a month when we can help somebody for about $100?
Yeah.
And it's better? And what we've seen result-wise, we know what's in it. It's just the plant. I've actually personally have dealt with people who are in that beta test for that big pharmaceutical company. I've had conversations with them the past year, 2 years, whatever it's been, where they were using this and they had to use it. And I remember having someone in the state of Florida say, I'm done with that. I'm using yours. And their results spoke for themselves. And so
awesome.
it's super cool when you can do that. Look, everyone's going to do their thing, man. Everyone go do your thing. But if it were me, just like with our plant enzymes, I want to know what's safe, right? And I want to know what works. I want to know what works. So we're talking about our CBD fluid being, look, we made up most of these words in the beginning, years and years ago. This water soluble, these, the full spectrum, aqueous, the entourage effect. And these companies that don't even have this are using those words. And that's okay, man. People, look, they got to do what they got to do. But it's why. Here's what I'm saying. Why would you put a chemical into your body. Why would you use something that was chemicals were used and were involved or synthetic matter materials if you didn't need to? If you could do it without that, I'm not saying some of those CBD oils don't work. I'm not saying it. Now, some of them don't work, that's for sure. But many of them work. But at what cost to the body?
Yeah.
Okay. So we know taking synthetic vitamins, at what cost to the body? Prescription drugs, at what cost to the body? Over-the-counter things for, you know, the one that sounds like my wife Tyleen's name, or the other one that, you know, starts with the, you know, letter A or whatever, or the I that people take all the time for headaches and pain and blah, blah, blah. At what cost to the body? Right? It's no different. So why would you use something that you don't need to when you can use our fluid, which is only going to give to the body? You're only giving nutrients to the body. You're not adding any poo back in. You're not. It's goofy. The only issue, you know why, Scott, is because they don't know it exists yet, and that's our job, and that's why we're here. You know, today's our day of rest. At the same time, we feel called. People need this. This might be the only time people will see what's going on, and you know, I appreciate you giving me the chance just to share some information with you. You know, it's a Sunday afternoon. It's not usually something we do, but I just felt, man, this is okay. And I pray about it and meditate on it. I'm like, this is okay. We need this. People need this. This is church. This is a form of church right now. We got to love on each other, man. We got to walk the walk. We can't just go in the building, right? These are, Ty and I have called these forever. I don't say forever. People say, well, what's forever, Sean? People are funny. Many years, we've always said God's nutrients. Yep. These are God's nutrients. This is Mother Nature. These are plants. And when used correctly, look at all your prescription drugs. They came from a plant. The concept came from a plant initially.
Yeah.
Right? And then it was amplified and blah, 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 and a gazillion of these and a gazillion of that. And it's like, no, God made our body beautifully. It just needs a chance. It all works together. Give your body a chance and let it see what it can do to help itself. And give your body a chance to prevent issues. That's the other thing. We've always done this. We want to be preventative. And then if there's issues going on, we want to help the body, you know, in any way we can to repair itself and bring it back to, you know, kind of into that homeostasis or whatever the issue is.
Yep. It's so awesome. Yeah, so last is, let's talk about pets. Let's talk about children. How much should they take? But then most important, end it with why now? Why is our timing so critical now? Because from what I understand, they're projecting this industry, the CBD industry, to be like a $20 billion industry over the next couple of years. That to me is business-wise, that's a move, right?
Man, well, okay, let's break this down. So yes, we have little kids that, right, have used it, and they'll go down to like 1 drop instead of 2, like little babies. We're about to head over to Tyleen's grandmother's to celebrate her 102nd birthday. Okay. Doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter the age. Pets respond amazing to CBD. I mean, pets really respond well. We like to just drop it in the food, and you can mix it in. And by the way, our dropper, you don't have to drop it under the tongue, Scott. You can drop it on the tongue. It doesn't matter. It's ready to go. It's water compatible, and your body's mostly water. You're going to get that right away. You can put it on topically. You can rub it on pain. If you got a little skin thing, you can rub it on there and watch what happens. So it's very, you know, versatile. If you don't like the taste, because it's going to taste like a real plant.
Yeah. If
any of you here's what happens when people taste our CBD fluid and they've had other CBD oil. They're like, oh, wow. Oh, my. This is different. Well, yeah, that's just the plant, because that's all it is. It's nothing else. If that's too much for some people, they're like, oh my gosh, just drop a couple drops in your glass of water. your bottle of water and drink that, and you're cool, and that's okay too. And that's what everyone's going to do what they're going to do. I want to, before I answer the size of the industry or talk about that, I want to go back. I want you to know that CBD, part of its function is to bring the body into homeostasis. It balances things out. Our nervous system, our endocrine system, they kind of start to communicate, right? And your endocrine system, Scott, maybe you know this, so your thyroid, your hormones, your sexual health, all this stuff. And if that starts working correctly again, that's super cool for people. Yeah. And that's really, it's all about watching how the body responds. There's so many things, and from a preventative standpoint, it's fabulous. The industry, CBD this year in 2018, it was forecasted it would be about 500 million. A couple months ago, it surpassed $1 billion. Damn. They're saying it's unbelievable. Damn. In the next 36 months in the United States, it's projected about 24 billion. Okay? Billion with a B. I like to compare that to Starbucks, which does about 24 billion in the US. And that's just Starbucks. That's one brand. But imagine, this is what we like about this. We want to keep helping people, but we need more people out there to help us help people. And so imagine if you could have gotten involved with Starbucks. If they would have said, we're going to do 24 billion. What? You want a piece of that? And people would have said, I can't afford it. I can't open up a franchise, or maybe back then they could. But what if they would, Scott, what if I would have told you 24 years ago, hey man, for $99, buy I don't know, a couple $100 and some coffee beans, you'll be part of a $24 billion space. It's comedy. It's comical. I don't think I've ever seen a financial place for the everyday person, Scott, out there like us that can participate. First and foremost, plant medicine. But second, if we can help people financially, they're going to help more people with plant medicine. Because all of a sudden they're going to have more time in their life. And all of a sudden it becomes a bigger priority to them. So yeah, this is a perfect storm. This is a right place, right time, whatever you want to call it. I think it's the biggest financial wave we will see in our lifetime for the everyday person. There's other things out there, and there's been, but that's for the big money people, the wealthy, the big, investor groups. We don't need that. We don't need that at all. This is changing our country. In the next couple of years, every single person in the U.S. will be using CBD or have tried CBD, and it could end up at that point in their beverages. It could be in their food, their personal care. It's going to be everywhere. So whatever it is, they'll be on it. It might as well be the best. It might as well be the fluid, right? And if they use something else, that's cool too. But we want people to have the best if we can.
Awesome. We are so grateful to have partnered with you guys, to have brought you into our family, and for what you guys have brought and continue to bring is the real deal. It's the real deal. It's awesome. And people need it. People need it.
They need it. And I appreciate, those are kind words. And look, when you're different, it took us years. It took us a decade to get people to start understanding what we were saying. And sometimes it took, like with the gut, it took maybe Dr. Oz to say what Tylene's been saying for 15, 20 years, and then all of a sudden people believe, and that's okay. People who know us, we didn't work with the NBA athletes, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, NCAA. Steve Nash didn't partner for just, and he was a super clean guy eating wise. The celebrities, the athletes, the teams, the health practitioners, the doctors. Look, that stuff didn't just happen. That happened because we spoke truth and because of the integrity of what we did of helping people. Marketers will hate. They will throw, anything and sticks and stones, people who are chasing money first and foremost, no judgment, nothing but love for them. I wish them the best. I hope that they come around at some point. And I've seen people change. They change, and money changes people. Greed changes people. And all of a sudden, they forget what they really know deep in their heart, in their soul. They know the truth because the truth resonates. And sometimes people just forget that truth. And we've seen that over the years, and then they come back and we help them. So we'll always be here with open, loving arms, man, and wish everyone the most success, whatever they're doing. And again, thanks, man, for allowing me to just share some info. And I'm excited, man. Looking forward to it. And Scott, we're going to be